1, 2, welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel, home of all things detailing. Don't forget to subscribe. Great to see you. It's New Year, January. Look at the weather. Look at it. It's not even late. Look at that. Pouring rain. Well, not pouring, but it's raining. Freezing cold, miserable. Hope you had a good Christmas. Anyway, back on the car. So the Porsche 996 Carrera aero kit, you know, taco aero. No, don't do humour. The interior, I've started the tear down. It's going to be very dark, isn't it? Let's get some light in here for you. Boom. That should be a bit better. So we've taken that centre console out, the bottom centre console as well. This is the balked beeper horn, you know, the horn that's not been wired into there, it's been wired through here. So I've got to get underneath to figure out how that gets back to here somewhere, however that works. We'll figure that out later on. Been very lucky with some parts. So this was the centre console that was in there. So it had this, you can see like the texture, this DIY painted top bit, because it was obviously the wrong colour. So it's just been rattle canned black. So I managed to source one with the correct graphite, or granite, is it granite grey? And Darren, Porsche 996, Darren, New Zealand Darren, you won't know who I'm talking about. Darren, you know. And thank you so much, because he's given me a stereo, the original stereo unit. So get rid of this abomination that was in there. I've been round to Danny's. And Danny's given me this, and I'm going to give him my airbag if I can. But he was telling me that it's very hard to get the pins out of here without damaging them. So I've got to be careful. That's another thing I'm going to be doing in a second. Because that board is attached to the passenger airbag. You can just see there, the suede one. And you have to get to some bolts underneath, which probably needs done. You do need to disconnect the battery actually and leave the battery off for a bit, so that everything, any capacitors or anything in there that's stealthily keeping hold of its charge gets drained out. We'll do that next. But the cool thing is, this is a granite thing, and I've got the granite side bits to go back on there, and the original OEM stereo, and the air climate control goes back in there. So we'll have the centre console looking proper. I don't know if I've shown you all of this stuff over here. I think I have. I've got the centre console delete, the proper Porsche one, which was best part 400 quid I think we had on that. And this will give me this sort of GT3 centre console look. And it's, oh Jesus, it's a hell of a bag that is. Hold on. Oh, come on. Good. Couldn't get something out of a bag. Get out the bloody bag. Doing all this stuff. There we go. It's a nice thing. It's all nice and new. So that's the centre console delete. There would normally be, you know, another console, a lower console with more modules in it. Nice. 400 quid for a bit of plastic cardboard on it, carpet on it. But there you go. You've got to do things properly, haven't you? There's no point in bodging it, because you ruin the car. So you just have to spend that money once, invest it in that car. And it's probably going to be there longer than I am, hopefully. We've got the Mod 7 steering wheel, which I'm sure I've showed you in another video, but I'll show it to you again. This was the best part, 407 quid for another one of these. Yeah, oh, that's wrapped up as well. I'm going to get too frustrated. Oh no, you're going to want to see it, aren't you? Let's do that. There it is. It's nice quality. I'm not sure if it's some money in these steering wheels, isn't there? You know, you do the maths, think, well, that bit of whatever metal they've used there, is that like steel, brushed steel and then painted, or is it anodized or painted? Don't matter. And then like a rubberized bit around here, and then some, it's not Alcantara, so it's like microfiber. and then that's the best part, 400 quid. It can only be about 20 or 30 quid to make that. But there you go, that's the whole thing with cars, isn't it? Very nice bit of equipment. That, and it does make a difference. That's the bit you hold on to. Unfortunately, they don't do the limited edition one in normal leather, just that microfiber. That's not Alcantara basically, but it's Alcantara, but they can't call it Alcantara because it's not made by. Well, it's not Alcantara. I've got the black Carrera badge to go on there. I'll take that receipt inside. Keep all those together. There's that original lower console part. That's the lip's got to go back on. I don't know. So this thing had all these silver things all over them. When I tried to take this one off, it snapped this. So I managed to get an old unit, identical unit, and you can unclip this plastic bit, unclips, and I could replace it with my unit. So I've done that. So as what I was saying is, when you do a modification to the car that involves like literally super gluing, or God knows what glue that is, tiger sealing, something else onto something else, later on down the line, if you want to revert that modification, you're going to run into a lot of problems. And it was me that ran into that problem and had to revert all of this. I'm very lucky that I was able to source a second-hand unit with a good screen. The actual back bit of this unit was busted. That's why I managed to get this cheap from Steve. Let me just show his thing, because that helped me out, the 996 shed. So he sold me that for like next to nothing, which was really good. So that saved me. Yes. So the next problem I'm borrowing that. That's a gear stick adjuster, so I can lock the gear stick and then set it in place. I don't know what to expect there. That's for the horn. I might not need that, but we'll see. So probably next job for me right now is I want to get this bit here done, because that's separate to the rest of it. So while this is all here, I have to pull something out from under there, a bit of weird plastic thingy, and then get two big bolts out, and then probably there'll be a wiring loom somewhere, and then drop. I don't know how this, but it must drop down, I guess. And I can get this horrible bit of Alcantara out. Yeah, I can't wait to get rid of that. The old fuzzy Alcantara. Feels even cheaper than this stuff, but I think it's the same. Anyway, I've been talking enough about that. So that'll be my next job. Then I'll move on to that gear stick, I think. I took the plunge and bought a new instrument binnacle here, which I've got to fit. That's going to require a little bit of work here now. This was £325, but no point in buying a second-hand one. So it's this bit here on mine that's broken. Some clip is gone. Wonder what has broken, what the weak point is. So if you get a second-hand one, it's going to be probably prone to the same failure, and they'll have done 100,000 miles. So I think you're better off, rather than paying like 150 for a second-hand one, pay 325 for a new one, and then you're future-proofing it as well. It's like a little crab, isn't it? That I needed to get. That's got the cruise control, which my car luckily has, and I've got the dials for that. They come off my car, so that's really cool. What's that? That's windscreen wipers, isn't it? Yeah, they feel a bit weird, but that's okay. So they'll be going on. So what I'm going to do now is I'll cut, and I'll come back once I've made some progress. I have a feeling I'm going to have problemos. Car's dirty, don't panic, it's dirty. It's what happens in the winter. That wheel's got to come off. We'll strip all that back, all the way down to the binnacle, to the whatever it's called, the indicator arm module. While we're back there, then we'll start trying to work out how they've wired the horn in. And at some point, Oh shit, there'll be evidence. Yes, great, thank you. Come in. At some point, you should make cocido, Spanish stew. It is the most vile thing you could ever eat in your life. It's like boiled, all these boiled meats. Don't get me wrong, if it's done properly, it's nice. That's the problem. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back in the blink of an eye. It's a different day. And I'm now working on trying to get this piece out here, which should be easy. Should be easy. Nothing's ever easy though, is it? You'll take this piece of high quality, whatever that is, like foam. You put like a plastic bag in there and do the same thing. And then you've got to take a pipe out like that. See that pipe there, and an air duct. And then I think you need a 13mm socket, and you go under there and pull out 2 big bolts for the airbag unit. Oh, my battery's finished charging, that's good. And then this, hopefully, oh God, should have tested this before I hit record. Oh, there we go. So this should come out this way, shouldn't it? Oh, that sounds too healthy. Something's holding that in place. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, let's get that. I'm just going to put the camera down. Hold on. How does that pop off there? How does that pop off? Oh, come on. Come on. Why do they make these clips so complicated? They don't, John. You're just an idiot. That looks like it hinges. How does that hinge? How does that hinge? Looks like there's 2 little ribbons there that it would hinge on. So something would have to pop open to release it. Hold on a second. Ah! Bloody camera. I don't care if you can't see. Oh, we'll give you a bit of a dip. Why don't they make these things, design these fucking things? Bastard. Why? Don't you piss around scratching my car. Right. That is not intuitive. Oh, you bugger. I'm just going to get... Out with the good air. You know the bad air. And before any of you say, oh my God, you got the battery connected. It's disconnected, don't worry. It's been disconnected for hours, don't panic. Sorry, you always get the panickers when you do this. So, I can head them off at the pass. Right. Let's try and get this thing out, doodah. What is holding that? It can't just be force, can it? Oh, it was just, yeah. Just needed a bit more force, leverage in here. Now, this is the bit Danny warned me about. So Danny, if you're watching, I don't think there's any leather under here still. I don't think so. No, I'd be able to feel it. Oh, I don't know though. Hold on. Oh, I don't know. Hold on. Hold on. No, there's no leather under there, mate. Let's rip that leather off. And as far as I can see. So the problem we have now, the bit Danny said was difficult. You could have unbolted them there, Dan. Can you? Is that welded on? No, you could have unbolted them there. and then it slides off and then you haven't got to knock the pin out. I think. Yeah. That would have been the way to do it, I think. So yeah, that bar looks like it's compressed. Oh no, it's not too bad. So if we go and get a caliper pin, caliper pin removal tool, whatever it's called, and the persuader, the universal persuader, we should be able to punch this out. Let's get this out of the way. Close that door. Make sure the bar is off the edge. Anyway, doing that. That's probably the best way to do it. And the best tool would be that. Danny. Danny. You don't have my mechanical skills, do you? You just don't have them. That's easy. How? What were you doing? What were you doing to break that? That comes out no problem. Right, there it is. Oh man, it's going to be easier than I thought. So, someone's been here before and done that. Maybe that's probably why it's easier, Dan, isn't it? Someone's had this one off before. Nothing to do with my superior mechanical skills. Oh shit, I didn't remember which way round it went. Which way round does that go? Must be that way, mustn't it? Got to be that way. Yeah, so if we get that over the edge, put that back, we need to hammer it back in, don't we? So we're going from the top. Get that aligned properly, it should just drop in. Fiddly to get back. It's definitely the right way, isn't it? Well, little tap there. So that must pivot, bang like that, and go that way. So that is pretty straightforward. So you don't need to see the next bit, so I'm going to reconnect that. It's a real pig. You've got to get on your back in there, and you've got to oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Is there anything I need to do in there before I put that back? I don't think there is. No, that side's okay. So that's going to go back in. I'll be back in a second. Okay, guys, I'm back, and that is done now. That's all bolted back in. That was on paper that was an easy job, but it was just a pig. Oh, there's no room. It's like going potholing. You've got to lie on your sort of side on your back, coming in at that angle, and there's no room to get your arms up there. Oh, it's a nightmare. But anyway, done. I'm really pleased with that. Really pleased with that. Just been chatting to Danny. That's such a nice quality piece. It's right, once it's all dressed up. There's this is tiny bit darker, but you can't see it. Once it's all cleaned and dressed the same, that'll be great. Couldn't get that any better. The binnacle's on its way, so I managed to find one of those cheap, but really good condition as well. So that's good. Now, so I'm working my way through my list of my interior stuff here, and we've got quite a few things done now. Done the dials, those silver dials I was talking about. Center stereo surround, airbag patch. So I'm just going to do this fake horn blanking panel thing. So Here you can see what was in there when I got it. You know, so that's how it was, like granite, rattle can. And this was the original one, granite, but that's a double din unit, where it needs, sorry, single din unit, whereas I need a double din. So here's the one I've got, that's the right colour, and then those go on there. This is in good condition as well. There's the stereo that Darren gave me. And that's the button. Look, you can even see where that button was put in later on. And it's less glossy, actually. It's more like a matte button. Even that would bug me. So everything bugs me. But that would bug me. Just like it has to be done correctly. Yeah, and that button that I've just bought to go in to replace it is Porsche. It was also important to me to make sure that the button layout, because that goes there, that goes there. So I'm going to be putting another blanker on to make sure. I was thinking maybe I should swap it all round so the blanking plate goes there, so you've got two blanking plates. But checking other Porsches, these two are normally blanked. So all I've got to do is figure out how to get this button out, which you think would be really easy. It's got to come out that way. But mind you, that feels clamped in. So if we get a clockmaker's watch, clockmaker's doodah, that must be the way to get these out. Must be a clockmaker's doodah. I don't want to force it. How does that come out? Any of you know? If I put some of these, you know, normally these things are quite intuitive the way they come out, but this, how does this come out? Yeah, that's interesting. It doesn't seem to want to go. That's very, how the hell did that pop in there then? There must be a method. Does not want to pop out. Some of you be screaming, you've got to do it this way. Well, I can't see how, if that pushes down, it's important. This is where you break stuff. These do not want to seem to come out. Oh, they seem to be clipped. Oh, okay. So does that need 4 almost of these? Do you have to like pull that down, push forward at the same time? Ah, there we go. Look at that. I'm just too clever. See, you would have broken it if you were doing it. Everyone's going to be going mad now. No, I wouldn't. I would have done it quicker than you. Right. So we know that goes that way round. And that should just pop in. Oops. I'm not a mechanic, by the way, as many of you know, but I've done a lot of tinkering with cars over the years. I've stripped everything down on a car, on some cars. You know, I've done this loads of times, and I know you can break things, and after a while you get a feel for how car parts clunk together, and where to be careful. With all this interior plastic that's very old, you force it, you snap it, and some of it can cost like 50, 60 quid, or some of it you can't even get. We're getting there, guys, we're getting there. So that goes in there like that. Just need to tighten those runners up, and then that will slide in on those runners, and then locks the last runner in with 2 screws. So, oh Jesus, talking about breaking things. But I just want to see what that looks like. Get excited. Get in there, you little bugger. You need 2 hands. Get in there. Why is that not free running into there? Get in there, you little shit. Pardon my French. There we go. That thing needs to be tight for you. So I've got the panel's got to go on the outside of that, so it'll clip on. So that then that will go back there like that. Oh, and that just, for my eyes, look at that. Just hold that up there like that loosely. That's just a thing of beauty. Look at that. That's what it should look like. And there's something really nice about it being all like original, isn't there? And like being how it should have come from Porsche. And there's something not so good when it's all messed around with and it's just all wrong. Has to be right. Like, you do it right once. This is coming from a bit of a bodger. But do it right once. Get it right. Do whatever it takes to get right. If you need to go and buy something that costs 30, 40 quid, go and buy it. Get it right. And then that's going to look amazing. Rather than dodgy. Yeah, this stereo is in really nice condition as well. Just the buttons, the rubber on them perishes. You can go and get new buttons. Someone makes them, I think. They're about 30 quid each. It's a bit excessive, really, isn't it? I know, but I suppose, well, whatever. But these, Darren already gave them a clean, not with like IPA or something. I just used something even a little bit stronger. I used a little bit of cellulose thinner because I thought what I could do is strip all the rubber off them and go back to plastic. The cellulose thinner will do that. But it's all rubber. Like if you took all of it off, you'd be in trouble. So it's a big, thick rubber coating. But it looks, the cellulose thinner just like melts it a little bit, and then you can just rub it with a bit of suede microfiber, and it'll put like a matte finish back on it, and then it's okay. So that's fine. Right, what's next then, guys? That could collapse at any moment. This, so let's just put that just the right way round. That is the surround for the old stereo. The old stereo is in here. I'm going to offer this stereo to Darren or Danny, whoever wants it. There's actually two. There's another one in here. That feels light. And if it feels light, that is a real cheapo thing. That is, whatever that is. There's no brand on it. That's well cheap. So yeah, but you know, might be all right. What's next? Next has got to be to start peeling back the binnacle on. I've got a couple of little jobs to do in here as well, actually. A little bit of the drainage pipe has popped out, which is, Danny says is fine, and it is, because once it pops out, it still goes through the drain hole. But there's a tiny bit of surface corrosion there, so I'm going to just treat that with some cure rust. I want to get that drain hole unblocked, which might not be that easy actually, and then put back in, which is a bit of a pig because you can't get to it to pull it back through the hole. I also need to sort my jets out because they're like, you know, they're all over the place. Like if you pull the jet thing on and like you squirt someone on the pavement as you go past them, it's like that. I think I've got all the bits I need for the horn. I've got a little connector piece in there and a little thing in there, but I don't know what they've done. This is where I might need your expertise. Oh, this is where I might need your expertise. I'm getting there though. This binnacle, I know how to do that because I've had that off already. That's like a 2-minute job for me now. Well, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't know how to strip all this back. No idea, but I assume we start here, get the steering wheel off, start taking all this stuff off, and we'll find bits of metal under there and then screws and get all this off and just peel it all back. We'll have a control, ribbon connector that you need to be careful with, because if you get those out of alignment, which I've done before on other cars, you then put it back on and it's not centered, and then you turn full lock and snap it. I'm laughing. I've done that before. You can see that's got to come off. I don't know how that comes off, but that's got to come off and go on the stalk here. So this, I love doing all this actually. Yeah, it's quite enjoyable. Just one little step at a time, baby steps, and work my way towards it. So I need to trace out this cable which was attached to that thing, and that works the horn. So I don't know how they've done that. That's going to be a bugger. Ooh, is that it there? If I struck gold, I might got my hand on something there. Is that it? I don't know. I need to trace that back, which might mean, I don't know if all that comes off, but it might mean loads of bending underneath there and having a look, poking at things. Let's break it all down. Might even need to take that binnacle off to get access. Who knows? It's fun and games. I'll be back. Okay, guys, back in the car, making progress. Installed the new thing, indicator stalk thing, doodah. That's going to all go back in. That looks a mess, but that's going to be good. And I've told you we've done that. That's going to be done very soon. We're getting there. Now, I've got a problem with the horn. I got the horn. Now, here is the connection that they jimmy rigged. So they cut off, whoever did this before, cut off the socket and head shell for the, what's it called? For the, what's the thing called? The wiring loom that rotates, the clock wiring loom that, you know, it's got the ribbon on it and very easy to break if you misalign it. And they just did that, I think, to get it working for an MOT. So basically, if you make this connection, it works and you get the horn. Where's the keys? And importantly, if you connect up the car, so sorry about the camera work, if you connect the car up and the keys in the ignition, it works. Okay, good. Good. Now, that I originally thought, forget about that for the time being, but there's an earth strapped onto that connection that doesn't go anywhere. I thought that was a Porsche original earth somewhere, and that should be connected somewhere to earth the steering column, but I'm not so sure. I think that might have been put on by someone. Don't know, you tell me about that. I don't think that's Porsche. Okay, now here's the thing. When you, I think, use this, you have this connected, you know, your indicator stalk connected to the steering column, and then you have on the, this thing goes over the spline, and it's got a slip ring there covered in grease, or probably electrical grease, and there's a big gap, so I'm going to need to bend this slip ring up. I'm still not out of the woods yet, actually. And then that's obviously connecting to the slip ring, and then when you press your button on there, I don't say it makes the circuit, but it makes the earth, I think. Does it? Let me just think. Yeah, I think it makes an earth. Yeah, it must make an earth, which triggers the horn. Okay. So, but for all intensive purposes, just for testing this, I don't need any of this stuff, okay? All I need is the two original cables that I've got, okay, which are here and here. Right, so here's the thing. So this will tell me if this is going to work. If I connect, now this is the thing Rob told me, you must earth off of the metal part. There's black paint on this, so you must earth off of the metal. Which one is my earth? I believe that is my earth. So that needs to earth right there, and then that goes there, and you'll get a working horn, okay? Right? And here's the crunch test that we failed before. If you're earthing properly, then when the car is turned on and the key's in the ignition, it will still work. Yeah. If you're not earthing properly, so I'm earthing off this, that connection there, yeah, that's made, it will not work when the horn's on, or if this is earthed on top of this paint here, yeah, it doesn't work. So you must earth off a good contact on the steering column, which is really interesting. Why? I still in my head should be able to earth off of this. I wonder if that's just too corroded. Why can't I earth off of that? Very interesting. Because that would be so much easier, but I can't. So there's no point in messing around. What I've got to do is take the connection and earth it. So I'm going to use a Jubilee clip, like Rob's video, and I could actually use this cable because it's got a loop connector on one side and I've got a bullet connector here. So if I earth there and then put this with a bullet connector, or even easier, if I take the terminated cable here, it's got the bullet connector already on it, and put the crimp connector on it there, and I'll take the crimp connector off of that because I won't need that earth, and then earth the crimp under the Jubilee there. That will give me the bullet. Hold on, where does it, where does that one go? Well, am I being thick here? Am I being thick? Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on a second. Oh well, I'll figure it out. Well, I'm having a bit of a mental block there, but I'll figure. No. Yeah, I need two separate connections. So this one with the white is the one that actually is the live. And then the earth is that one. So the earth, actually, so the live, the live actually, if I connect up to that with the bullet, okay, yeah. So I connect that to there, and then that will go through there into the copper slip ring. That's right. So don't get clever ideas. Hold on a second. Why? Oh, because this is all because they've cut this out, isn't it? This is all because, and then this one would need to go. This one would then need to go on there. Oh, I see, because it's different. So when Rob was doing it, he needed to put a bullet connector on there because he had the original head shell and socket. Yeah, so that makes sense. So enough talk. When I come back, I'm going to have a working horn. I think this is well beyond my intelligence pay grade, which, as you know, isn't very high. It's low. This is really like draining my neuron. But I'll get it. I'll get it. I think I'm going to take a little break from all this electronic stuff and just do something easy, like plug this back in, which is just dumb, you know, cursing and trying to cut your hands up and push things in. But that doesn't require any brains. And I'll reset my neuron, get the temperature back down, get the CPU a bit lower, then I'll go back and do this one. In fact, while I'm here, oh, I can't wait for this to all be done. I'm going to get in the car without kicking wires. Have I got Jubilee clips? I think I have. Because that's kind of organised. I wouldn't have thrown those away, would I? Jubilee clips. I usually have those. If not, I'm getting them from anywhere. I'll wait on eBay. I want to get one today. Jubilee clips. I've always got Jubilees. Must have thrown them away. Swear, Jubilee clips. Oh, John. It would be here if it'd be anywhere. No way. Thrown away my Jubilee clips. Always used to have those. Man, that will surprise me if I don't have those. Oh, anyway, never mind. You're not subscribing to see if I've got Jubilee clips. Subscribe, I'll be back. Oh, mio amore. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Yay! It is done. Man, you know, I'm jumping forward in this video, but I've been on my back in here for hours. I put it all back together, it all worked, but this thing here that I put in it has a clamp. It has a clamp in it. And I didn't know. I didn't know. How would I? So here's the old unit. See that clamp there? So you've got to loosen off and tighten up. This was so tight I can't adjust it at all because it's like burred into the metal. So that I had to kind of knock that off. When I took it off. The other one, I put it on and it was all wobbling after, you know, when you use the indicators too aggressively. So I put it back, I've clamped it all up and it seems okay. I then had another problem that this thing here, this steering rake adjustment was seized. So I couldn't put it down. And basically underneath here is some mechanical switch that this actuates. So as you twist it, it kind of pushes it down that way, pushes on a pin which releases this. There's not a lot of rake in it, there's only a little bit. Anyway, it was seized up to hell and back. So I had to take the seat out because I couldn't get my body in, my muscular frame with my big ribs, barrel chest, muscles. It's mainly the muscles. So I got the seat out, WD-40'd it up, and then whacked the living hell out of the pin, and that still didn't do it. And then I got a drill and put a masonry bit on it, and ran that drill. So it's like vibrating away, whacking on the pin while I'm spraying WD-40 in there. Then I left it for half an hour, come back. Then what I did was try whacking the hell out of it again, which is difficult when you're on your back under there. You know, ding, 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 like a little miner. That wasn't working. Then I got a really thick screwdriver, really thick, put it in between the plastic pin and the plastic arm and the release pin, tightened it up with the screwdriver in there, levered it right up as much as I could, and then at its maximum pressure, just gave the screwdriver a little clank, and that popped. I think it just all seized up in there. So if you've got a Porsche 996, or any really with a steering rack, with the same steering rack, any Porsche with that rack, I would spray that cone where the black bar ends and touches a little cone pusher. Spray into that cone and spray around the back as well, because you can access it from the back of it, which I think is important, and then just crank it and crank it and crank it and crank it, even if yours is working, just to get some lubricant in there, because if that seizes, you're going to need a new steering column, and God knows how to put that in. You'd have to, that would be, I didn't even want to think about that. That would just probably be a nightmare, I don't know. So luckily that's all sorted. So what's left to do? So we're really getting close. That I've got coming, like a, you know, leather one. Then that operation dashboard is done, and then my attention will go down to there next. But I've also got a blown, this has got a Dansk, D-A-N-S-K, don't know who the hell they are, exhaust, and it's blown a hole by the flexi ring on coming out of one of the back boxes. And I was asking on my forum, and someone said it was common, and then I googled it, and loads of people have had exactly the same failure. It's not a cheap exhaust system. This was only put on about 2 or 3 years ago. I got the receipt for it. It's blown a hole in the back box already after 2 or 3 years. And someone else had exactly the same problem, said exactly the same thing, but I think Danks, this is a forum post, and Danks said to him, it's a serviceable part. Okay, serviceable part, but exhaust should last longer than 2 or 3 years, especially one that costs £2.5 grand for those twin back box, just those twin back boxes. Very thin, cheap. Anyway, someone's at the door. I'll see you later. Over and out. Okay guys, so a bit of a jump in the video, a bit of alteration in audio. We're getting towards the end of the project dash. I've got the replacement binnacle to go in here. That's in good shape. Is that on there? That's all on. Chuck that over there. Everything's working and done in here. And I've got a bit of vinyl wrap that I'm going to take this steering wheel off and put the vinyl wrap over the binnacle there, so it's black in there. And then operation dashboard is complete. So let me get on with this. Doug. Okay guys, we are now at the end of the video. Phase 1 dashboard de-ricing is complete, and this dashboard Death Star is now fully operational. So we got rid of that, which was a right pain. Gone back to leather. We've got the correct center console back in. We've got correct OEM stereo. We've put a blanking plate on the horn button. We've rerouted the horn back onto the gear, onto the earthing, onto the oh, what the hell is it called? Steering wheel thing, column. And we got the horn working on and off. Always important to check that, because the classic problem is it won't work when the key's turned on. We've gone back to a leather binnacle here. We had to put a new instrument panel in because just to get those silver rings off. We've got the vinyl wrap covering that metal plate that you can sometimes see with these. So it looks really good. We've got the new indicator stalk covering. I'm sure there's probably more that I've done that I forgot. But anyway, that's essentially just getting a nice dashboard now, and I love it. It looks really like OEM. It is really OEM, apart from the steering wheel. But this, we've gone over to the black edition steering wheel now. I've just taken that yellow one off now, which is just the icing on the cake, and it all feels amazing and brand new. So next is lower center console, whatever this thing's called, sorting this gear knob out and just getting the center console delete installed, which will be easy. Whatever this rough, horrible Alcantara is that was all over here is down here as well. So taking all these patches off, there's some down here, and this little hatch thing's all Alcantara. Redoing that properly, potentially. I don't know though, it might be. You never touch any of this. So is it really that big a deal? We're waiting for the gear knob to turn up, which is something really special that's on its way, hopefully. Yeah, but I might, for the time being, just leave. I can probably live with this. It's on the gear. It's on here as well. It's been done really poorly. Don't know. It's going to bug me. Anyway, if you want to see the next step and all that, tune in on the video, and we'll go over to phase 2, which is this. These seats are. Maybe I'm losing weight, but these seats are growing on me a little bit. They're great seats when you're in the car, but it's still a massive pain getting in and out. And I sort of kink my head. So we'll think, well, we are probably going to do the seats, yeah. If not, we'll re-trim them at very worst case scenario. Anyway, we'll move on to that. So subscribe to the channel, and repeating myself, and take care. And yeah, please, so please. It's been a lot of work, actually. I know it doesn't, when you go through it, it sounds like nothing. It's been a ton of work, just an absolute ton. There you go. Bye.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?